the Philippines where sunlight gleams, Brian Tess and family dreams. By the shorelines, kids at play in a tropical bright array.
Good morning, YouTubers. Welcome back to my channel, Brian and Tess in the Philippines. Today it's just Brian in the Philippines because this is my midweek informational video, which I have to apologise for the fact that I haven't been posting them for the last few weeks, but we have been so busy out there on the farm trying to supervise and get stuff done. We've been literally spending 8-9 days at a time there, then a couple of days back in the city, then back to the farm again. So we have zero internet out there. Even the signal on the cell phones out there is non-existent. It drops in for a few minutes. You'll get 1 or 2 bars sometimes, and then it just drops out to nothing. So it's even difficult just Facebook messaging someone or trying to get a phone call out there. It's very remote. So apologies for that, but today I'm back to do an informational video. I'm still here, haven't gone back to Australia yet, basically because I'm trying to get this build finished. As I said before, the budget is spent, but we have all the materials there, so we're trying to use up all the materials and get things finished. I am going to attempt to sell the car, the RAV4. If we can do that, then maybe I can hang on here a little bit longer. But my trip is pending back to Australia very soon, depending on what happens. So thank you to all the support from you guys. Been fantastic. Really appreciate everybody supporting us, and thank you to all the subscribers. Don't forget, guys, if you haven't yet, please smash that subscribe button down there in the corner. Click the like whether you're enjoying the content or not. Hey, just give us a like, won't hurt you, and drop a comment. Anyway, today's informational video, I thought I'd discuss how fast can you get married here in the Philippines, because a lot of people have asked me, is it possible for me to come there on a 30-day visa and get married? You know, I can only get 4 weeks off work. Can I do that in 28 days, 30 days? Is it possible, or do I have to extend for 2 or 3 months? What's the process there? So today I thought I'd just go through and let's see if it's possible. My wife's sister, my sister-in-law, Ati Vic, she is here at the moment, and her fiance, Ismail from Turkey, is here to get married. Now, he was married before. He's been divorced. I've had guys say, oh, the process takes longer if you've been divorced and you've got divorce papers and blah, 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 blah. Well, my experience so far, and I can only base this information on my experience, my own marriage and my brother-in-law's. Well, 2 brother-in-laws. I've got an American brother-in-law who's married to Tess's younger sister, and a Turkish brother-in-law who's married to one of Tess's older sisters. And the other subject I'd like to just touch on before I'll just digress for a second. A lot of people have said when they see older foreigners with younger Filipinos and they say, oh, they're only after your money. Why do they go after older men for their money, blah, blah, blah. Why don't you see younger Filipinos with older Filipinos? Well, you do. You just don't know. You think that's their father or their grandfather or their uncle or their whatever. You don't go up and ask them, is this your husband? Tess's older sister, the one that's getting married now, her first partner was a Filipino, and he was 73 years of age. He's the father of her 3 children, my 2 nieces and nephew. She is, I think now she's 37, and the eldest niece is 10, so she was only 27 years of age, the same age as Tess was when I met her, and she was with a 73-year-old Filipino man. So you do see, and he's not rich by any means, you do see younger Filipinas with older Filipino men. You just don't realise that they're in a relationship. So again, to all the people that say they only go after the older guys for the money, you're wrong, 1000% wrong. It happens in this culture. Age is not an issue with these women. It's the partner, whether he's a responsible person looking to take care of their future. It's more about stability than it is about money. So just wanted to touch on that. I digress. I'll go back to the topic of marriage in the Philippines. Now, my brother-in-law, Kuya Ismail, is one of the difficulties they face is also that he not only speaks Turkish, he doesn't speak Tagalog, and he doesn't even speak English. So he's using a translator app, Google Translator, to have a conversation with people. And I thought, wow, that's going to make it more difficult for the marriage. Also, when Tess and I got married, we had the current mayor of Balut at the time. He married us, and his English was quite good. And he asked me, would you like me to do the service in Tagalog or English? And I said, up to you. Both, it makes no difference to me, but English would be preferable. So he did it in English. So a lot of our guests there didn't even understand what he was saying, but our whole ceremony was done in English. So this one, the judge didn't speak. It was a judge here in Masbate City. Judge didn't speak Turkish. Brother-in-law didn't speak Tagalog, so they had to use a Google Translator. He's been married before and divorced. Now I've heard a lot of guys say, oh, if you've been married before and you're divorced and you've got divorce papers, it's a bigger hassle to get your marriage license. It takes longer, blah, blah, blah. As I said, I can only base my opinion and on my experience and my brother-in-law's experiences. My American brother-in-law, he got married to Tessa's younger sister and managed to do it inside 30 days, no problem. Myself, I arrived here on March 31 back in 2022, and we were married on May 3 because our wedding was postponed a little. It should have happened inside the 4 weeks, but back then, it was only a few months after COVID had ended, and during the COVID period, the Australian Embassy was not issuing certificates of no impediment to marry. They had a link on the embassy website that directed you to an affidavit that you could download, print out, and then you had to bring that to the Philippines, fill that out and get that notarized by a lawyer here, take that to the municipality when you applied for your marriage license with your Filipina fiance's Senemar, which was her certificate of no impediment to marry. So we did that, took that there, got to the municipality. They refused to accept that. They said, no, you need to go to the embassy and get a full seminar filled out by your embassy. And I argued the point with them that this was what was being used. They wouldn't accept it. We then went to the acting mayor and spoke to him. He's actually a lawyer. He opened his laptop, asked me to direct him to the Australian Embassy website. He went through the section where the link was, followed the link through to the affidavit. He confirmed that that was legitimate and that was the current process. He said, go back to the municipality and explain to them that you've spoken to me and I have verified that this is accurate and this is what they need to accept. Went back, they still wouldn't accept it. The woman at the municipality, I don't think she was very happy with me because I argued the point with her the first time. Most Filipinos are non-confrontational, so she was a little taken aback when I said, no ma'am, no, this is not correct, you need to accept this, this is the current process. And I don't think she really liked me, so she still refused to accept it. Third time's a charm. We then had to go and speak to Tessa's uncle and auntie. They knew the manager at the municipality. They then spoke to him and he was prepared to accept it. So when I went back the third time, spoke to this woman again and she refused to accept it. And I said, can you please get your manager? She said, he's on leave. And I said, okay, can you please call him on the phone? So she called him on the phone and he told her to accept it. She wasn't very happy about it that I won in the end, but 3 times it took us. So that was over days to get that processed, and then the marriage license is 10 days to get that. So it took a little longer for us, and I was just outside 30 days getting married. Now, my brother-in-law Ismail from Turkey, he arrived here on March 14. They processed all their paperwork in Manila. When he arrived here, he went to the embassy there in Turkey, the Turkish embassy in Manila, and got his certificate of no impediment to marry. He brought all his divorce papers with him. They did everything. They came here to Masbate City. We went with them to the barangay hall here to get their barangay clearance done. They then went to City Hall to process the paperwork for the marriage license. They had to go through their wedding seminar here in the Philippines. You have a marriage planning seminar, I think it is, no matter what age your Filipina is. Also, if your Filipina wife is under 25 years of age, I think it is from memory, there's also another 3 classes you have to attend as a seminar about marriage and having children and blah blah, and it's part of the process. You must complete that to get your marriage license. Over 25, there's just the single wedding seminar you have to attend, but it's part of the process to get done. There is a lot of red tape here in the Philippines, no matter what you are doing, whether you're building something, whether you're registering a car, whether you're want to go and get your license, you have to go to your barangay hall and you have to get a barangay clearance and pay some money. Everything's about putting a few dollars across and greasing the palms here. So it takes time. Everything takes time. But the brother-in-law and the sister-in-law got their marriage license, got it all processed, and had just a very small civil ceremony. There was no, again, church wedding. If you're both, say, Roman Catholic, or you're both Muslim or whatever, you can have a church service that may take longer to organise, and it will be a bigger deal. But for a civil ceremony performed by a judge or the mayor, it's a fairly quick process generally. So they went and spoke to the judge at City Hall, or the Hall of Justice. So it's 9:30 a.m. on April 3, 2025, and we're here at the Hall of Justice for Tessa's sister and her fiance to get married. Here's the kids. Kuya Sky, up to Italia. Guapo and guapa. Tess is here, of course, looking beautiful as ever. So we're about to head in, and I had to be here as a witness. But yeah, just wanted to go through the time frame on arriving in the Philippines and being able to get married. And because a lot of people have asked, is it possible to do it in 3 weeks, 4 weeks, in a month, on a 30-day stay? So let's see. They managed to get a date, and they were married in 20 days total. Or was it 21? No, 20 days. So from the time he arrived here in Manila to the time they signed their marriage certificates, it was 20 days. So yes, it's very possible to get married here inside the 30 days. People will tell you different. Mine was just outside the 30 days. As I said, I think it was about 32 or 33 days. My American brother-in-law was just over 3 weeks. My Turkish brother-in-law was just under 3 weeks. And he'd been divorced before. So brought his divorce paperwork, didn't have an issue. So I've heard people say it, but it didn't make any difference at all to slowing the process down. Everything went straight forward, everything was quick. I was a witness at the wedding. So it was just, Tess and I were there. Another one of my sister-in-law's friends was the other witness, because you have to have 2 witnesses. It was just the bride and groom, the kids, 2 witnesses, and my wife Tess. Very small ceremony done inside the Hall of Justice in the judge's chambers. And that was with the judge asking Vic to translate everything for Ismail to understand, because she had to make sure that he realized he was here to get married to this Filipina, that there was no scam going on and she was trying to trick someone who didn't speak English into getting married. So she confirmed everything, Vic translated for him, and everything was done at the courthouse. Walked out the door, went off to a resort here for a small celebration and feast, and all completed within the ceremony itself only took 20 minutes, literally 20 minutes from the time she was booked for 10 a.m. and I looked at the time when we walked out the door of the Hall of Justice and it was 10:20 a.m. So even with translations, everything was completed in 20 minutes. So the answer to can you get married here inside a 30-day visa is 100% yes. I've seen it done multiple times. If I didn't have the small issue with my affidavit, if I had gone to the Australian Embassy and got a certificate of no impediment to marry, and that was all notarized, 1000% our wedding would have been processed under 30 days as well. So I can tell you of 3 weddings that I've experienced, and I can tell you there's another guy, one of our subscribers, Derek, who was just here recently. He came here and got married. That was inside 4 weeks. Another friend of mine, Pete, from back home in Wollongong, he was here last year, I think it was. He was married inside 30 days. So I can tell you my experience, 5 weddings, 3 Australians, 1 American and 1 Turk that I know of, that all could have been processed. Mine wasn't quite, but should have been had I gone through the embassy. All processed and finished, finalised within 30 days. So as long as your Filipina has her Senemar and her cedula and all her paperwork, you bring your birth certificates, get your certificate of no impediment to marry, bring your divorce papers if you're divorced. If you're organised and have everything together, you can process everything, get your marriage licence and get your ceremony completed, all in 3 weeks if you do it fast and you're efficient at getting everything done. So if you're worried, don't stress it. If you're going to come here to get married, you can get here, get it all done and get yourself back to your home country, or get over and start processing the visa to take your wife back to your home country. Don't forget, I also have a link in the description below to a website that processes visas if you want to take your wife home to the US or something. Filipino Visa, they do a fantastic job, so check out the link in the description below. Also, there's a link in the description below to the dating site where I met Tess. Fantastic website as well if you're searching for a Filipina, whether it just be friends or whether you're searching for a girlfriend or a wife. Check out the website. If you click the link below, you can create a free profile there and check out the thousands and thousands of Filipinas online searching for a foreigner. So thanks again for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed the information today, and we'll see you on the next one. So from Brian in the Philippines, peace out, guys.